Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. And yes, we'll get to the JRC as well as the other topics covered in our current document. But first, the usual disclaimers. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shot campaign, you will find pertinent links right there in the description box. Should you like to go ahead and do a deep dive, you should be able to go ahead and do so. Trigger warning, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. I do use profanity, and when we talk about places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. So if you got a child that is 16 and younger and they watch the channel, parental supervision is advised. Where we left off last time, folks, Amy Lutz, PhD. This is from the National Council on Severe Autism. Of course they had to go and do that, because we can't handle the fact that its spectrum and functionality changes from day to day. I would know. Yesterday I wasn't a whole lot of good to anyone, let alone myself. Not to mention difficulty in talking towards the end of the night, which is always fun to deal with. But anyways, that's what they're called. I'll try to be nice. The National Council on Severe Autism is extremely alarmed at the recent efforts to cleanse the IACC, its strategic plan, and autism research more broadly of basic, accurate, meaningful language like behavior, risk for autism, and quality of life. The clear trend here is to mandate language that treats autism as a neutral condition or a difference. But Congress did not pass the CARES Act and allocate hundreds of millions of dollars to research because autism is a neutral condition. No, it's because of your fear-mongering, Karen. Since you've gone and convinced the world that we might as well be the new version of the bubonic plague is how we've gotten here and why places like the JRC are continuously being allowed to exist. You treat us like a contagious disease instead of a developmental disorder. Okay? But you're not taking into concept the severity. You don't understand. You were never like my child. The fuck I wasn't. That's my beef with these parents. Who the hell are they to tell me what my experience is with my own damn diagnosis? They were not around when I was a child. They know nothing about my background, the treatment programs I have been within. They know absolutely nothing about it, but they can sit there and scream with their full chest about how I'm not like their child in spite of knowing nothing about me. Nothing in particular about my childhood. Because if such a thing as a time machine existed, I would put them in there, take them back to my childhood, and give them a damn education. And here's another thing, parents. But you wouldn't, they're so severe. So you, the neurotypical parent, are trying to tell me, an autistic woman, that you, the neurotypical, understand your autistic kid more than me, an autistic woman. For real? Really? Because at the end of the day, no matter where you are landing functionally during that particular day, I will always, 100% of the time, have more in common with their autistic child than they are ever going to have. Which means I'm going to have a better understanding. Not complete, but a better understanding than you, a neurotypical, about what they're going through than that parent's ever going to have. There is an understanding on a fundamental level that exists between neurodivergence. An inherent just understanding that we don't share with anyone else. Not even our parents. It's hard to describe. There is a commonality. There is common ground. There is a safety there that is just not out there for us in the neurotypical world. That is the very fact that finally did help me peel out of my shell. That finally did help me socially. That did actually help me interact better with the outside world. Not hanging out with neurotypicals. The only thing that provided was more trauma and more judgment. Hanging out with my fellow neurodivergent peers, with other disabled people, my fellow folks who have mental health issues like myself. Yeah. Quit telling us you don't know what it's like for the most severe, because who the hell do you think you are? Stop making assumptions about us. Did I have pica? You bet your ass I did. Those copper pennies I told you guys about? The sensory thing, I just stick it in there? And guess what? Yes, there were times I would choke on those. My mom, intelligent woman that she was, even though she didn't quite understand what was going on at the time, did not berate me for it. She asked. I told her. She replaced it with ice cubes. Because, at least somewhat similar. We had well water, leave us alone. And yeah, stop saying, you're not taking this seriously enough. You're not seeing them as disabled as they really are. You've never been like that. Yes, I have. Okay? Stop it. I'm tired of the argument. I know you're coming out on our side. But I'm not going to justify you just saying completely irrational shit because you're emotionally triggered and you want to take that out on everybody else. Sorry. I'm old, 41-year-old autistic who's managed to make it this far. I don't care about your feelings anymore. I used to be kind and gentle about it, but now I'm just all out of patience. Don't know what to tell you, but let me go ahead and read this here. That an autistic child cannot learn to speak or develop abstract thought is not a neutral issue. Bullshit. Bullshit. But what about the ones who cannot learn to speak? How do you know that they can't develop abstract thought? Because your idea is just because we don't articulate it, that means that we don't have abstract thought. Which is stupid. Because by that same logic, you could condemn deaf people. Or other things that may cause a person to be nonverbal. Do you ever say any of them would not be able to develop abstract thought? Simply because they're not articulating it audibly to you? No. But if you got the tism, apparently it's alright. So done. If you can tell. Just so done. That an autistic individual engages in self-injury or perpetually elopes or destroys property is not neutral. The abnormal neurogenesis, neuromigration, symptogenesis, and neural connectivity evident in autism are not neutral biological phenomena. The countless siblings live in fear of being attacked by their autistic brother or sister is not neutral. That an autistic individual faces life-threatening seizures, pica, or gastrointestinal distress is not neutral. We can all see whose side they're on. By the way, if you want to know why a lot of us older autistics have chips on our shoulder the size of Texas, while I'm reading this to you, wonder no more. Wonder no more, folks. This is why. They blame all of their problems on us and then demand society as a whole fix it. Is that fair? Is that right? How do you think that affects us psychologically? Because if you think they don't use it on families like mine, let me give you an education. The difference is my mom took no shit. She has worked in the medical world longer than a lot of these so-called folks have been alive. Thank God. And I do. Every day. Every day. So, what we're getting is a whole lot of gaslighting, victim blaming, vilification. Essentially, you have parents that are trying to tell you all that the TISM took their real child and returned to them a child who is essentially the Joker. Okay. I'm actually only going to read so much here. We want IACC to fully include all realities of autism. Why? You don't. You spend the good majority of your lives blaming all of your problems and bad decisions on your poor neurodivergent kids, and then you scream at us advocates all day because you just think that because we are autistic and not miserable every day of our lives, that you get to take all that vitriol out on us. The types of reactions you all have, they're not logical. They're solely emotional. They are not based in science. They are not based in fact. They are not backed by data. They are not backed by anything. Now, am I telling you what you go through having an autistic kid is not hell? No, I never said that, and I never will. I've been in the houses with bars on the doors. I've been in the day centers. Nonverbal people screaming in the middle of the floor. Frustrated for not being able to come across. I'm not heartless. I want parents to step back and look at things logically instead of blaming everything on us. We already have it tough enough. All the odds are already stacked against us. We don't need you to add trauma dumping all your bad mistakes onto us to go on top of it. I'm sorry for that rant, but I'm not sorry. I'm going to go close out on this one and cool down, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. If you all would be so kind, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, don't forget to hit the comments, and make sure that you are still set up to receive notifications. We are going to be going ahead and continuing on with the Down the Rabbit Hole series and Snake Oil Salesman series. We do not want you all missing anything. I do, of course, appreciate your time And as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea absolutely do hope you have a good one. I will see you all next time. Bye bye, everyone.